You're watching the Ball Game Blitz. Kicking off tonight for the Humboldt Vikings is senior Kean James. From Island back deep to receive the kickoff. Keontae Patterson and Skylar Hopewell.
Number 33, Skylar Hopewell. And number 4, Keontae Patterson. Kicking
So here we go. This special rivalry, the Humboldt Vikings and Milan Bulldogs tonight at Johnny Hill Stadium in Milan. And, of course, the ball does not cooperate and blows off the tee. James resets the ball, and here we go. James said he's ready. And we're underway with a ground ball covered up at midfield. His Humboldt's trying an onside kick to start things. Either that or he just missed the ball. Bradley Brown able to recover for the Bulldogs. That had to be a planned onside kick there. As Junior Reed and his Humboldt Vikings trying trickery to start the game off tonight. Keep an eye on these players as it is very humid here in Milan. Cramps could play a part. Marshall Harrison starting his second game for the Bulldogs out of the shotgun. Here's Harrison. Play action, back to throw. Fires it out and incomplete. Looking for what has been his favorite target. Jake Morris. Out a little down and out. You can see the play action. Harrison, that was something that he had to work on. Much better at it on the first play. Just over the outstretched arms of the linebacker and incomplete. Second down and 10 from Milan. Just underway. Here's Harrison out of the gun again. He'll hand it off straight ahead from the 50 to the 48-yard line. It's a gain of 2 yards. Patterson on the carry, and he's banged down. After a short gain, it'll be third down and long from Milan. See that Humboldt defensive line with the penetration in the backfield, and bam! Nice tackle. Third down, let's call it 8. Milan at the Humboldt 48-yard line after a nice starting field position. Here's Harrison. Play action. Looks downfield. Tips at the line and incomplete. So the Viking defense, after Milan starts in great field position, forcing the Bulldogs to punt it away. 11:19 left, first quarter.
Back to punt for the Bulldogs, number 34.
Kristen McKinney to punt it away for the Bulldogs.
Number 6, Kevon Goodwin, and number 9.
And Kevon Goodwin back deep here for the Vikings. Here's the punt. It's a good one. Going to take a Milan roll inside the 10. And Milan will down it near the 7-yard line. And that's where Humboldt will take over first and 10 in a scoreless first quarter. First quarter being brought to you by Woodman of the World. Call Anthony Warren at 731-437-9048 on South Church Street over in Trenton. So Milan goes 3 and out on their first possession, and now Humboldt will take over. Cameras tonight, Paul Schultze on the field. Kevin Thomas, the field videographer, Tucker Wallace with aerial videography. We'll run down the entire crew later on. But here's Humboldt, first and 10 deep in their own territory with John Burns lining up at quarterback out of the shotgun. He'll hand it off, working right side from the 7 out near the 9-yard line. It's a gain of 2 yards and first down. Carrying the football for the Vikings, Cornelius Watson. Well, they say Watson only able to get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10 for the Vikings. Just underway here from Johnny Hill Stadium. Milan went 3 and out on their first possession. And Humboldt takes over deep in their own territory, facing a second down and 10. Humboldt splits 3 far left, 1 wide receiver to the right. Here's Burns running the option left side. Nearly fumbled, and he does. Able to scoop it back up is Watson. And he crosses the 10 out to the 15-yard line. And Jake Morris on the tackle. Watson doing a great job, because that could have been disastrous for Humboldt. The pitch a little behind him. You see Watson reach back for it. And then you never know which way that football is going to bounce. It's an odd-shaped ball, and you never know. Watson able to scoop it up and move out to the 15-yard line. It'll be third down and manageable here for Humboldt. Watson out of the shotgun once again. Watson calls his own number straight ahead to the 21st down yardage outside the numbers 25, 30, crossing the 35, and finally shoved out of bounds, but not before. Watson picks up their Burns, I should say, picks up the first down, and the Vikings move the chains. You can see Burns there, the nice block by the wide receiver, bouncing outside before Milan's able to get him out of bounds on the tackle. It's Kristen McKinney. So 1st and 10 with the Vikings. First down brought to you by Hometown Self-Storage. New line of scrimmage, their own 37 in a scoreless first quarter. Here's Humboldt on the ground. The ball's loose. Who's got it? It's a fumble. And it'll be Milan ball. So the first big play of the game goes to the Bulldogs. Is Milan able to recover the fumble? You can see as Burns, the quarterback, trying to stick it in the belly of Watson. Never had it. And a lot of that was caused by the penetration of big number 73, Hunter Harcrow for the Bulldogs, a senior defensive lineman. So Milan takes over after the turnover, and great starting field position at the Viking 34. Here's Harrison under center this time. Play action, rolling left. Got a man open and incomplete. A little bit too tall. Looking for Dwayne Sappho. Sappho probably will tell you he should have made the catch anyhow, the fullback from Milan. You see Harrison a little bit high. And Sappho couldn't bring it in. So 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs in the first quarter from Johnny Hill Stadium. Scoreless. Now we got whistles. Let's see. Timeout Milan.
Timeout on the field, Milan.
Milan burns their first timeout as Jeff Morris wants to talk about it. You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
At Raspberry Tire, we can help you with brakes, transmission flushes, interstate battery replacement, all types of suspension repairs and alignments. We carry several major oil brands and tire brands, including Firestone and Bridgestone. Our service center can balance both passenger car tires and semi-truck tires and fill your tires with nitrogen. With 30 years of towing experience, we can haul small, compact cars to semi-trucks, and we are the only record service in Gibson County with heavy-duty towing and recovery services. Come visit us at 2216 Highway 45 Bypass, Trenton.
Papa's Pizza to Go. Buffet, dine-in, takeout, delivery. Come join our fun, friendly family atmosphere in our game room. We are located at South 1st Street, Milan. The pizza worth the drive.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz. Well, the Bulldog cheerleaders trying to get the home crowd fired up here in a scoreless first quarter. After the timeout, Milan facing a 2nd down and 10 from the Humboldt 34. Here are the Bulldogs. Harrison, the quarterback, under center. Sappho's the fullback. Hopewell, the tailback. Here's Hopewell straight ahead, running room to the 30, inside the 30, and taken off his feet at the 29-yard line. Skylar Hopewell for the Bulldogs. That'll bring up 3rd down and right at 5. Sappho, such a good blocking fullback. They're able to get some room. And Hopewell, like he may have tripped over his own feet there, so he's trying to bounce it outside. So another big 3rd down, and let's call it 5 here for Milan. Straight ahead, Hopewell, running room, and coughs it up. Who's got it? They scramble for it. Humboldt says we have it, and so do the officials. Oh, boy. Hopewell, that big hole right up the middle. You can see Hopewell stripped away from behind. Kean James, the linebacker. Here's a great shot for you. It's going to take you right down to the field. This is what the Humboldt defense was looking at. He had a great job there by James to strip that ball away, and Humboldt comes out with a big turnover of their own. Milan was almost in the red zone. So the Vikings take over their second possession. 1st and 10, just outside their own 20. Here's Burns, the QB, and the shotgun. Trips to the right. Running the opposite right side with a pitch. Cutting back inside the 20. Out across the 25. Breaking a tackle across the 30. Before he's finally taken off his feet near the Milan 33-yard line. Running the football and running it well was Watson. We may have had a roster change here. Jalen Montague, I'm told, is the QB. We have Burns at number 2. So first down, Humboldt, brought to you by Hometown is Self-Storage. Here's Montague, back to throw. Montague fires it out towards the sideline, too high and incomplete. Ooh, a little extracurricular activity there. Fans didn't like it. As Kevin Goodwin thought Milan was being a little too aggressive after the play. You can see Milan's defensive back coming up to make that play. As Montague left it a little too tall. Delonte Watkins, the defensive back for Milan. So second down and 10 for the Vikings. Just outside their own 30. So here's Montague and the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Montague calls his own number. Spins out of a tackle, but not the second as he's spun down near the line of scrimmage. Nice defensive play there for the Bulldogs. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11. You can see on the replay here, spinning out of 1 tackle, but not the second. And losing a yard, that'll bring up 3rd down and 11 back at the 32-yard line. Humboldt in their own territory in a scoreless first quarter. Montague and the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Watson the lone setback. Here's Montague back to throw. Montague across the middle, got a man caught. Breaking a tackle and out near the 40-yard line. The reception for the Vikings. Joseph Rice, who nearly picked that first down up after breaking the tackle. Going to be just a couple of yards shy. You can see Rice found a soft spot in the zone, breaking the tackle, and then dragged down from behind near the 40-yard line. He needed the 42 for the first down. So Humboldt going to punt it away. Fourth down and 2, and the Vikings choosing to punt it away. Nice snap. Gets his foot into it at around his own 30. Nice high punt. He's going to hit it to 30 and roll inside the 25, and Humboldt will down it just outside the Milan 20. So both teams have had the ball twice, and so far the defenses ruling the day were scoreless here in Milan. Mention our camera crew: Paul Schultze, Kevin Thomas, Tucker Wallace also. Videography, Jimmy King. Motion graphics and editing, Sarah Schultze. Graphics, Tatum Alexander. Additional narration, Rachel Schultze. Executive producer and editor, Paul Schultze. My name's Dan Reeves. Here's Milan on first down. Straight ahead. Breaking 1 tackle, but not the second. Short gain on first down. Deontay Patterson running the football. Patterson able to pick up 2, but that Humboldt front wall standing to not a lot of push there with that Milan offensive line, and Patterson able to pick up 2 yards. It'll be second down and 8. Milan on the ground again, running right side, wrapped up near the line of scrimmage is Patterson. Is that big Humboldt defensive line not giving up much room at all? 3rd and 8. 5:45 left here in the first quarter. It's scoreless. Junior Reed, the head coach for Humboldt, in his first year. Humboldt brought back 4 starters on defense and the 7 on offense. 3rd and 8 for the Bulldogs. Here's Harrison out of the shotgun. Play action, looking to throw. That ball kind of slipped out of his hands, looking for Jake Morris. You may see some of that tonight. It's hot and it's humid, and there's sweat. You can see Harrison wiping his hands off. Watch how it comes out of his hand. That one slipped out of his hands. He had Morris open near the sticks, unable to connect. Kevon Goodwin and Jalen Montague standing back deep awaiting the punch, and both those guys are burners. Kristen McKinney in to punt it away for the Bulldogs. Scoreless in the first quarter. Here's McKinney getting his foot into it. This is going to be, well, it gets away. Running all the way back inside to 30 and bringing it back to the 34-yard line. Now the return for the Vikings was Montague. So maybe we did get it right. It is Burns at quarterback. Here's Montague trying to get outside. Sappho from Milan cutting that edge off, and Montague turns it back up. So late in the first quarter, we're scoreless from Johnny Hill Stadium. You can get a sense of this crowd here tonight. You see them standing along the fence in the Humboldt crowd, and nearly sold out over there. As Burns, this time at I formation to the line of scrimmage under center with 2 wide receivers. 1st and 10 Vikings. He just gets that one off ahead of the play clock. Straight ahead they go with it from the 35 out near the 37-yard line. Pick up of a couple on first down. Cornelius Watson, who's been a workhorse tonight for the Vikings, straight ahead, just pure strength. That's closer to a 3-yard gain than 2, so it'll be 2nd down and 7 for Humboldt. Just inside their own 40 in a scoreless first quarter. Here's Burns under center, I formation. Straight ahead again on the ground, fighting forward. Crossing the 40. That's Watson again on the carry. That'll set Humboldt up in a 3rd down and manageable situation. You can see nothing fancy, just power football. Is Watson just dragging some Bulldogs with him. That'll set up 3rd down and a long 2 here for the Vikings. Under center again is Burns. Out of the I formation, 2 wide receivers. Burns on the ground, he'll hand it off straight ahead. 1st down yardage. Crossing the 45 out near the 50. On the carry again is Cornelius Watson, the workhorse tonight for the Vikings. Running over left tackle this time, breaking tackles again, and dragging Bulldogs out near midfield in a Humboldt 1st down. That 1st down brought to you by Hometown Self-Storage. Call 571-1517 in Milan, Medina, Humboldt, and coming soon to Trenton. Hometown Self-Storage, 571-1517. 1st and 10 Vikings out near midfield. On the ground again, straight ahead into Milan territory before he's taken off his feet. Is that man again, Cornelius Watson, who's just carrying this offense here in the first quarter. And that Humboldt Viking offensive line, you see him blocking 5 yards downfield. Approaching 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. And a scoreless game. The Vikings, 2 possessions. Now their 3rd, finally getting something going. This time it's the fullback straight ahead, not much there. Other than purple. That's James, as the announcer says, a host of Bulldog, and he was right. That time, Milan's defensive front won that battle. Devin Stevens and company making a stop here. 3rd down and a long 6 here for Humboldt in Milan territory at the Bulldog 48. Scoreless here in the first quarter. Here's Burns under center. I formation, 2 wide receivers. Long count. Burns, play action, rolling right. Under pressure, fires downfield, has his man, and it's loose. And it appeared as though Humboldt able to snatch that out of the air. Heads up by Darius Wade. You can watch this as Burns finds his man, and enough for a first down, but then bam, that ball pops right out of there. And very alert by Wade to get on it. Now we're going to take you down to the field. You can see James open there, and then the Milan DB comes up. Bam! That ball squirts right out. Xavier Lee made a nice hit there. Humboldt's going to go for it on 4th down at a yard. Quarterback keeper right up the middle. Running room inside the 40, and enough for a first down. As Burns called his own number. Boy, you see Burns just right on his center's hip, straight up the middle, picking up the first down for the Vikings. That's a hometown self-storage first down. Call 571-1517. In Milan, Humboldt, and Medina. And coming soon to Trenton. So the Vikings, their deepest penetration of the evening, 1st and 10 just inside the Milan 40. Here's Burns under center. He'll hand it off. Working right side running room. Inside the 30. Down to the 25 before he's finally taken off his feet. Jalen Montague, but there is a flag down. Just like this one may come back. You can see the speed of Montague as he bounces it outside. Hits that hole with the quickness and gives Morris the business. Like Morris may have got some face mask. No call on that one. The officials mark it back to the 47-yard line. Holding, I believe, is the call. So it'll be first down and 20. 44 seconds left in the first quarter. We're scoreless from Milan. Humboldt has a nice drive they're putting together, but shoots themselves in the foot momentarily. So we'll see if Humboldt can overcome that holding penalty. First and 20. Here's Burns under center. 2 wide receivers and out of the I formation for Burns. Long count. Burns will hand it off. Working right side running room. Inside the 40. Inside the 35 before he's finally cut down near the 30. That's Montague, Jalen Montague. We told you Nick McClelly for the Vikings, who had over 2,000 yards rushing last year, is out tonight. And we thought we'd see a lot of Jalen Montague, and here he goes. Bouncing outside, showing the speed before he's finally knocked down. He pick up of nearly 18 yards. As we're down inside of 30 seconds left and a half. You can see Montague showing some speed and strength. Coming over to make the tackle from Milan was Kristen McKinney. 2nd down and a yard. 19 on first down. Straight ahead is Burns. Giving the business to a Bulldog defender and scooting into the end zone. Touchdown, Humboldt. No one was there. And the linebacker getting blocked. And a nice move. And setting sail into the end zone for the Humboldt touchdown. So the Vikings strike first tonight in Milan. So the Vikings Epperson in to attempt the point after. His kicks up and it is good. As we approach the end of the first quarter, Humboldt taking a 7-0 lead over the Bulldogs. Boy, what a beautiful move that was. And then outrunning the secondary to pay dirt. 7-0 Humboldt. You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.
No matter what team you're rooting for, your favorite lineup is always your family. So when you add a new member to your team, you'll want to make sure they're covered with the rest of your loved ones. Woodman of the World's Family Term Life Insurance offers protection that changes with your family. The size of your family may grow, but that won't increase your monthly premium, which is great news for you and your growing team. For more information, contact your local representative. Woodman of the World, with you through life.
You're watching the Ball Game Blitz. So Jalen Montague, we're being told, is wearing number 2. And he's the man who just ran it in from 30 yards away for the Humboldt touchdown. So late in the first quarter, it's Humboldt 7 and Milan nothing. Here's the kickoff. It's another short one. It's covered up by an upback. Heads up play again with the Bulldogs. In great starting field position. Bradley Brown making that, or covering up that kickoff. So Milan, great starting field position, but that's not been the problem tonight at all. As we just have a handful of seconds left in the first quarter, Milan has had great starting field position compared to Humboldt's, but on the scoreboard, it's Humboldt 7 and Milan nothing. Here are the Bulldogs, 1st and 10. Just outside their own 45. Marshall Harrison under center. He'll hand it off to the tailback. Hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Oh, boy. That'll do it for the first quarter. After one, it's Humboldt 7 and Milan nothing.
Number 56, Austin Gunn. That's the end of the
7-0 Humboldt after one quarter. You're watching the Ball Game Blitz.